Well, welcome to the Toadstead. And this is whatever part it is. I'm not numbering them now. The foundation of our little not so tiny house, bungalow, cabin, call it whatever you want to call it. But for those of you who are just joining us, 20 by 30 and little one bedroom. We don't need much, just two of us and a cat. So we're cool. And we've got our floor framing, all our joists are in. That's our tongue and groove subflooring under the tarp there, and kind of out in the morning. And what this video really is about is more the philosophy behind the house. So if you're looking for how to and all that, nope, not gonna work for you. Why to? That might be closer. But we got our pile of, these are, we call bark splits, they're gonna go off. There's some lumber I just brought in, some logs. And I think there's a cypress hiding right there. Need to pull that booger out. But just helping a friend clean up some property. Here's my reward. And threw one on the mill. And if you can hear in the background, let's see. This is our kiln that we built out of kind of the first lumber we made with the mill here. And yeah, it's a little raggedy looking, but it seems to work. And I don't know if you can hear it over the microphone on this camera, but you can hear the whirring sound of the solar kiln in there doing its thing. So what we're going to do is talk just a little bit about why we did it this way. Well, number one, we are not rich people. We live very much off of this farm. We have a little side business. It's a concession. It's hiding in there. As you might imagine, during this COVID nightmare, the concession that's hiding in that trailer has pretty much been in there for 2.5 years, almost no income. And while we're not starving, we're certainly not in any position to either take out a mortgage, which is something that is pretty much against my way. I can't stand having a payment, because having a payment is the same thing as saying, well, have a bad couple of months, lose what you have mortgaged. I'm over here just checking out our little pear tree. And we got a few pears floating around in there. And something that's eating the leaves. Haven't found out what that is yet. We'll get around to that pretty soon. And there's our sorghum fields back there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bore you with a much more of a tour. I've done this a couple of times. But we decided to build this place. Well, actually, I decided almost 6 years ago. And it has been a trial just getting things set up. Of course, there's the shop. If you've seen the schizophrenic shop videos, that's where that happens. I have a frequent visitor who keeps their trailer here so they can come and visit. But had to build that first. Because as I said at the time, if you have a shop, you can build a house. If you have a house, it's really hard to build a shop in the house. So we've been staying in our little construction trailer over there. Thing's 4 decades old. Anyway, we waited and waited and waited, saved up a bunch of money, trying to get the house built. COVID hit, everything went right to crap. So instead of watching our money become more and more valueless, we put together some with some family members helped out too, and we bought the mill. Now, let me say this right off the bat. It is not legal to build a home with this. You can get into the politics of it, all that stuff. It's not the point. The point is, no. At least in most places. Where we are, it is legal. So before you go and take this idea and run off and spend the money on a mill and all that stuff, check. because, well, will it save its own money? Yeah. Yeah, quite frankly, when we bought this, we weren't 100% sure we could build with it, but we did know the rules are basically you can't build anything structural. So when you get over the framing of a house, which is not inexpensive by any stretch of the imagination, having a mill to trim out the house, and if you take your time and think about how much stuff that is non-structural that goes part of a house, yeah, might end up being better. At least having a friend with one of these, if not getting one yourself, to start building. And that's basically what we're doing. We found out it is okay to build our house with lumber we saw. And as you can see, even though it was okay, we didn't do everything that way. Some of this house was built, well, foundation, I guess, was built before the question even came up. Because these piers, I dug these all by hand, and they're all 4, 5, 6 feet in the ground, depending. We put them in. There's probably a video out there by now of using the transit to get them all level. But once we had done that, then we got into the sawn lumber. Everything here on the rim joists and the piers are actually for saltwater docks. So I feel pretty confident that's going to be around for multiple decades. And then we went ahead and cut all the lumber coming up. You can see the 2x10s are all there. Still a little bit of planing, a little bit of trimming to do. Nothing major. And then this is the first batch of the 2x6s that'll form the walls. A couple of half-inch ones in there that shouldn't even be there, but okay, they got thrown in. A couple of 2x4s hiding down there. Part of mill life. You don't get what you want out of the log completely. You got to take what the log will give you. And that was our first load. What's right there. And there's some 2x8s over here. Maybe you'll see it in later videos. I hope you will. But we've got at least one wet wall that, for reasons that you'll get to hear about when that video comes out, we need some 2x8s. And we tend to cut the lumber, not only what we need, but especially if the lumber is bigger, because, well, sometimes you don't get big trees. You cut the big stuff first, which is why we cut all of these, well, I'd say 98% of these joists first. And now we've got these here, those there, and let me swing you around without getting you sick. As you can see, this batch of logs is not very big, not compared to some of the ones we do. That one's probably, I don't know, usable, 8x8, maybe a little bit more. There's a couple slightly larger ones hiding in there. And we've got a job where we've got to get some, we're going to be getting some much larger diameter, much more akin to this little guy, which is probably going to show up in a video here pretty, if it already hasn't. I'm going to record a lot of these, put them out later. So this one will probably be gone by the time you see this. It'll probably be featured in another video. But this is the top end of, I think, 4. So this tree was like 60 feet tall, and it's just under 2 feet in diameter at the big end, probably 16, 18 inches at the other. And it's kind of, I wouldn't call it a great lumber tree, but it'll be fine for some other stuff that we're doing, and we're going to get it on there pretty soon. Same with this one here. Brought them in. Actually cut that one across the street from the house. Neighbor had it, wanted it gone. And this is the top of that tree. And again, you can see all the knots, all the stuff like that. And a lot of these just get turned into 1-bys, timbers, kind of whatever, again, the tree will give us. But what I need to do now is just take a peek in here throw the moisture meter on it and see where we stand. We've had, this stuff has been in here for about a week, maybe a week and a half. It went in there in the high 20s of moisture. And we like to get it down to the low teens before we bring it out. So let me get it open and get the meter, and we'll see where we're at. All right, we got it open, and well, it's kind of in full song. I don't know how well you can hear me, but you can see the fans are pretty much zooming right along. And like I said, we put these in, let me back up a little bit. We put these in, all this wood in, excuse me, about a week ago, but it rained, well, pretty much all week. It's not been conducive to serious drying, not as much as we'd like, but I'm gonna imagine it's, oh, we're at least halfway there. But for those of you first time seeing it, the kiln's about 16 by 8. We do keep some blocks in to keep the wood from bending up on end if we're worried about that. And we keep our stickers, which is the wood that goes, the small pieces of wood that goes in between. The fan blows the air in front of and gathers the air heated by the sun, pushes it down the front, around, and out the bottom. And we'll see what we got here. We'll poke this in a couple of places. I've got my meter right here. Would be better if I actually turned it on. Let's see. Well, we got 21 there. A little bit less down there at the bottom. And we'll go about halfway up. A little higher. You can see. A little lower, probably because we got more sunshine right there. Yeah, so we've tried a couple different places. Let's try some of these smaller ones. These are put together for, I should say put together, they're cut because one of my neighbors needs a ramp for his, bring his lawnmower up into his shed. And we had a couple of logs about this long. We just call them stump logs. And usually they have a bit of a flare at the bottom and all that. So instead of going in the burn pile, we make a little something out of them. Let's see what they're doing. The bottom line is it's kind of what I figured was going to happen. Now somebody might say, wow, you know, at that rate it's going to take a couple of weeks to get down into the low teens. Well, yeah, but put it outside to air dry like a lot of these 1-bys are, mostly because we don't have room for them right now. But the rule of thumb is that 1 inch of thickness per year for air drying. Year. These are all 1.5 and 2 inches thick. I mean, just have that. That'd be 2 years. 1 year for it to dry out outside? No. We want to build now. So we just kind of try and figure in a couple of weeks and prepare to be, to be ready to build in, a couple of weeks we have the material out of the kiln. So I guess we'll check this again in a week. Check it on. I'm doing this on a Saturday, so we'll try to next Saturday, and we'll give a look at it. But by then, we will have the rest of the material and tools, building supplies, blah, all ready for this lumber. And then we'll use the little set of forks that goes on the front of this. We'll use it to bring it over to the house. And also, by then, our pine bunker here should be, well, at least double this size. And we'll have some more going this way like that one, because anything in this bunker I can load with the grapple on the tractor. Anything that's too big for the tractor to be able to do that without tipping forward, we just skid them right in here. And we have a hand winch, and we just built, as I'm filming this, we just built a little modified electric winch to put on the back of the tractor to put them up here. So we move along, and we will keep you posted as we go. Thanks for coming along. See you next time around.